Hey, so you're thinking about making a break for the mountains and you're looking just west of the greater Denver metro and you see this area, Evergreen. And it's a unique, very sought after mountain town in Colorado, and with it comes like some challenges, but a lot of benefits to living up here. So I'm gonna run you through a couple things to know, and then at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you a testimonial from a client that we helped move up here to get their perspectives. First thing to know about Evergreen is that I think Evergreen's a she. Geographically, she covers from like I-70 to 285. Now these are the two main corridors into the mountains. You'll have access and you'll use usually one or the other to get down to the Front Range. In all, it's about 4,000 homes that are scattered in this area, and most of it is gonna be, about 95% of the homes are gonna be in Jefferson County, Colorado. But there is a part of Evergreen that will be on the back and the west side by like Snyder Mountain. That's gonna be Clear Creek County, and all sharing the same zip code, 80439. I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference in some of the areas within Evergreen, but big thing to note is that there are really like two main roads going through Evergreen. Highway 74, which is like Evergreen Parkway, and then Highway 73, which goes like from the lake down to Aspen Park in Conifer, which will take you out to 285. Max distance, if you're at the back of Evergreen, the very back, you're gonna be looking about 45 minutes to get back downtown to Denver. But if you're like right by one of the main thoroughfares, 285 or I-70, I mean, it's like 20-25 minutes. And that's what a lot of people find appealing about Evergreen, is because you could still be up in the mountains, you're surrounded by wildlife and nature, but quick, easy access if you need to get downtown for work or you just like to have that big city amenities, it's right there. Next thing to know about Evergreen is the vibe is completely different from like North Evergreen to South Evergreen. North Evergreen, you have like the Highwan area, which I always say is like the suburban area for Evergreen, where you're gonna find like a lot of HOAs, a lot more restrictions about what you can and can't do with your property, and for the most part, public water, public sewer. And then when you go south of the lake, pretty much every home is gonna be on private well and private septic tank. So I don't think there's a big pro or con either way, just good to know where your water and sewer is coming from. And some people don't like to be in an area where they're gonna have restrictions and they can see their neighbor. That's not the type of experience that they're going for. But that is also the draw for Evergreen. If you want to have that type of lifestyle, it's there for you. But if you want to get back up where you don't see your neighbor, you're on the side of the mountain, you're looking at the Continental Divide, we have those areas as well. And if you're just getting started with your journey, trying to find your place in the foothills and the mountains, that is what we help our clients do. We're one of the #1 relocation teams up here. So, we jump on a call with you to get an understanding of what level of mountain living that you're looking for, because there's a lot of different variables that can create a different type of experience, whether it's altitude, slope of your driveway, access, slope of the terrain, type of house you have, exposure. All these things come into play, and they could dramatically affect the type of living that you have out here. So if you want to get additional help, get set up on a buyer's consultation with us, give us a call, shoot us a text. The south side of Evergreen does still have some HOAs, but you'll find more like horse properties around like Evergreen Meadows area. And if you see an HOA for a property in South Evergreen, it's usually not about like what you can and can't do with your house or the structure. It's more to do with collectively how the neighbors are going to maintain the private road if it's not a county maintained road, and maybe like who collects the trash.
Take out the trash!
Good to have, especially in years like this where we had a tremendous amount of rain this past year, and a lot of that water can just wash out the road. And so it's nice to have somebody that's on the hill with you, or some agreement with the neighbors to how you're going to get that graded, and so you're not just getting in all kinds of ruts from the washout. Next thing to know about Evergreen is there's actually a lot of shopping and restaurants in the area. Starting at the top of like I-70, coming in from the north end of Evergreen, you have all the commercial big box stuff like Home Depot, Walmart, Starbucks, all that stuff is accessible right there. You go just a little bit further into Evergreen on like Bergen Park area. You have King Soopers, you have yoga studios, you have bakeries, coffee shops, small businesses, liquor stores, all that right there. And as you start to go further down Highway 74, you're going to start to run into more locally owned shops and restaurants. Along the way, you'll hit a couple more grocery stores. And if you keep going down the road, you'll hit Evergreen Lake, which has the downtown area, which has a nice strip of local bars, local restaurants, art stores, all kinds of things to do. Really, the only commercial spot you're gonna see or national brand that you'll see on Evergreen downtown area is gonna be like Baskin Robbins, but all the other restaurants, they're very highly rated. I like Murphy's, I like Cactus Jack's, I like Revival, I like Creekside Winery, and they're all really good. And so if you want to take like a stroll around the lake and then go hit up downtown area, there's a whole bunch of good restaurants there. Thing to know though is a lot of them close early, especially like Revival. They close at like 8 o'clock. But luckily, we got Cactus Jack's, Old Faithful right there. They're always open late. And a lot of places too in the downtown area will have nights that they're gonna have live music, especially in the summer. But Little Bear, Cactus Jack, Revival, Campfire, Bait Shack. So even though you're in the mountains, there's not necessarily like nightlife, but there are lots of events, lots of live music, and it's never busy, and I freaking love that. But then once you go south of the Evergreen Lake, there's not much until you hit then Aspen Park, which is technically now Conifer, right at 285. Now you have another big group of restaurants, and this area is only about like 25 years old. So a lot of things are nice and newer. You have a big like lumber store, bars, restaurants, Conifer Cafe, a couple different grocery stores. You got everything right there again. And so that's what I like about Evergreen is like you're up here, you don't want to be too far from all these conveniences, and you're not. What you are lacking, there's no real delivery service up here. You can get Instacart up here, you can get, Amazon for sure. But if you want like hot food delivered to your house,
Not gonna happen! No, not gonna happen!
but luckily it's like 15 minutes to get to anywhere. For me, it's like 9 minutes to get downtown, and so it's not too bad. Next thing to know about the mountains is you are in the mountains and there is wildlife up here, which is awesome. It's a lot of elk and a lot of deer run this city. And you'll see them too because they really aren't that interested in you. They just kind of roam, and they're also our neighbors, and you'll get used to them. If you live up here, you're gonna see the same deer roaming through your area. If you're up like North Evergreen, especially High One area, Elk Meadows, that whole area has the big herd that's always coming through. So you have to be a little bit more careful on the roads because there's always deer chilling like right by the road or slowly crossing. So you always have to have your head on a swivel, which why wouldn't you? Because it's so freaking gorgeous up here just looking at the scenery. But always look on the lookout for wildlife. When it comes to like trash, you just have to be mindful that we do get an occasional black bear roaming through the area, so you want to get those lids tight, secure, things like that. In Evergreen, I've heard of mountain lions every now and then. For the most part, I hear more about them in like the Bailey area, so it's more like the friendly creatures like fox, deer, elk, things like that in the Evergreen area. And also with the wildlife, it is good for your soul. So I have been in the Denver metro area since I graduated college. Only recently have I finally made my way up to the mountains, and I was not quite sure. It's like, am I gonna love it or am I a city boy? And I will say I am a mountain guy now.
It's Mountain Man, baby.
It's gonna be hard to drag me back out of the mountains, and it's good for your heart, it's good for your soul. There's a lot of more levity. Like you'll hear from Andre, our client that we helped out. You'll hear from him at the end, his personal experience, but it is true, the mountains, it's good for your soul. If you like good vibes, send some my way by giving me a thumbs up for the video. Helps more people see the channel, and I appreciate you appreciating me. We also have a different channel, it's called Altitude Living, where Josh and I will run through some of the newest homes that hit the market in the Foothills area, which I think is really great if you're just trying to get a feel for some of these areas, some of these price points, because we'll not only talk about the house, but they'll talk about like the proximity to different things and just things to know that come with like the home, the terrain, the area. And so if you're looking to get more acclimated to the altitude, check out that channel as well. And before I bring on Andre to tell you about why he loves Evergreen, let me tell you why everybody else also loves Evergreen is because there are so many things to do up here. Whether you want like easy hiking, we have Elk Meadows, Bergen Park area, or Mount Falcon. There's just trails all over the place. Hiking is everywhere in Evergreen. A couple minutes down the road and I'm at a trailhead, and that's amazing. So I work a lot and sometimes I just need a quick break with my dog D'Artagnan, and so we could just jump in the car 5-10 minutes and we are at an awesome trailhead. Not only for hiking, but for mountain biking. On the lake they have paddle boarding. In the winter there's ice fishing. There's all kinds of like yoga studios out here, jiu-jitsu. There's that goat yoga place over by Turkey Creek. Haven't done it yet because I don't know if I could really focus and actually do yoga if there's cute goats all over me, but they have it available, and just like all kinds of other fun activities, not only to do it individually, but a lot of community events like the rodeo and the parades and all kinds of stuff around the Evergreen area. So some people like the mountains because they like to be alone and they want to be away from everybody. I definitely have those days, but then there's also times where there's like these community events to bring people together, and that's really great too, just for the adults and for the kiddos. And have you heard of Red Rocks, the world-renowned amphitheater just cut out of the rocks in Morrison? Well, that is just down the road. If you head past Kittredge, just past downtown Evergreen, you could take the back way, absolutely beautiful drive, and you'll end up right there at Red Rocks, beat all the traffic, miss all the traffic, but catch the show. So we're gonna cut over to Andre, but don't forget, if you haven't yet, if you wanted to get tips on not only the mountains, but the Front Range, all things to know about living somewhere in Colorado, make sure you hit subscribe on the channel. And now let's go to Andre. Firsthand experience, Andre, tell the people what they need to know.
What circumstances or situation led you or brought you to the Moxie Denver team? How did you hear about us? How did you find out?
My wife's originally from Denver, went to Lakewood High School, graduated from School of Mines. I went to meet her family before I married her. When I came here for the first time in my life, I fell in love with Colorado. When we got back, I just told her, this is the place that I want to land.
Yeah.
And being, a native of Southern California, I wanted to explore other places to live. And so when we visited many times, I fell in love with Evergreen. And then I started to pump my wife about wanting to stay here or, buying, a piece of property and visiting. And so I just looked on YouTube, always watching YouTube all the time. And I found you guys on YouTube. And then, I set up a Zoom call with Sean, and the rest is history. Here we are.
Could you actually, explain the process you went through, you and Beth?
When we met Sean on YouTube was the first steps of what it was going to be to actually begin looking at properties in Evergreen. Once we did that, we met you, and it was seamless. Everything was wonderful. You have great personality. You made it very easy for us to just look at properties from Zoom. But then we knew after that we needed to physically see the properties. When that happened, Josh would let us know about properties that were available. We saw things that we liked, some things that we didn't, but the ones that we did, we knew we had to fly down. And then that was the next step in that process, was to be able to physically see the property, get a feel for the home. And then, you had made a comment, you don't know if it's the home unless you walk through the front door.
Yeah, you have to feel it. There were so many times you and I walked into homes and we're like, oh, this is pretty sweet. Really like this one. This is pretty cool. And Beth put her foot in the door and said, nope, and walked right back out. And I was like, yep, if that's how she actually feels, then genuinely that home is no-go.
Well, happy wife, happy life. So, when she saw something that she was willing to take a look at, then I was gung-ho. And, our tastes are similar, so I already knew that it was gonna be something nice, but we were also in a challenging market.
It was a roller coaster ride.
Well, and the other thing, you go through the process of actually looking at properties, and then my wife finds something and we both collectively agree this is what we want. We're willing to put up the offer and then get run over.
And then get bulldozed.
Right. You feel like your hopes are dashed.
Yeah.
But that's where perseverance and determination comes in, and have that stick-to-itiveness to see it through. The thing that helped us was that you guys were willing to help us carry that through, like see it through.
And we all held the burden. It wasn't, oh, I feel bad for you. Okay, bye. It was, I'm as sad as you are that we just got bulldozed that hard. We'll get the next one.
Well, and in the beginning, you're working with a real estate company and you're like, oh yeah, sure. But Josh showed real genuine friendship or real care for our needs and stuck it out and was willing to show us other properties, even though for that first offer, it felt like our hopes were dashed, and then our hopes were reinvigorated by being able to see another property. Then we started to understand that we just needed to see it all the way through.
Now that we're in your Evergreen home, we did it. You did it. Beth did it.
Well, look at that view.
Look where we're at. Now that we're here, what does this home mean to you that you've gone through this journey?
Well, I mean, for me personally, as a kid, drinking Coors beers, at 18 with my dad, always wanted to see what this place was all about. And then coming to this beautiful state and then falling in love with it meant everything to me. It just so happened that I married someone that was from Lakewood, right?
Yeah.
Went to college here. And so I feel like I'm coming home. It's a great feeling to have this house, but to partner up with you and to see it all the way through, because it took a full year to find this place. And so we stuck it out.
Now this is your home.
Yeah, it's a blank canvas. We're slowly putting all the furniture in. We're discussing paint colors and what we're gonna do with the floors. But that's part of the excitement. And then our neighbors are wonderful. The community is very, very friendly. Couldn't ask for anything better.
And if you could you tell me, where did you get most of your furniture?
Next door.
Yeah.
Next door Genesee, next door Arvada, next door Evergreen. We found some beautiful furniture pieces for next to nothing without having to spend full retail, which is, I think, really, really smart.
Yeah.
And my wife gets all the credit for that. She's the one that went on Nextdoor and found everything. I just said, sold. So
now that you've gone through this process, you have found us all, would you consider, recommending Moxie?
Oh, 100%. From start to finish, it has been an amazing experience in building and meeting new people, making friendships with yourself and Sean, and then feeling the support while we were several hundred miles away, not knowing what we were going to walk into, and then having that assurance that you had our back while we weren't here. And so to have that was something that was worth it. And so I'd highly recommend your company.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Hey, if you guys liked this, make sure you give us a good thumbs up. Click that like and subscribe button. We're gonna push out a lot more videos. But I just appreciated you hearing from true clients of their experience working with the Denver Moxie team. You have my number, you have my email, reach out. We're always here for you. See you next time.